10 times. Oh my god, yes! Whew. 3 coins. 3 of them. Oh my gosh, I want to have some big reaction, but I'm just so happy this is over! Ooh, okay. Good. That is nice. Almost 3 years after I had first decided that I wanted to beat Ithacropolis, I finally got around to doing it today. Well, not quite today since this video is coming out several days after I beat it, but whatever. And given the sheer amount of time that I have sunk into this level alone, I have a lot of things to say about it. So this is obviously my new hardest, I don't think there's any debating that. I don't really want to call it a jump, though I am skipping over 2 whole tiers on the Nautilus-worthy spreadsheet, and Ithacropolis is almost 200 spots higher on the ARADL than my previous hardest wave breaker, which means it's apparently harder than Bloodbath, The Coop in Hell, and Phobos. I don't know enough about any of those levels to verifiably say whether that's true or not, but I'd prefer to believe that it is true because it makes me feel a lot cooler. Besides, I think having the funny enter the city level as my hardest instead of any of those levels is hilarious, especially with how long it took me to eventually beat it. I have never been more dedicated to the bit. Let's get into the actual level itself now. First of all, you may have seen this video from Tried about Ithacropolis, which brings up 3 main hard parts, with those being the first wave, the ball in the middle, and the ending corridor. I agree with all of those, but I would like to add a 4th one. This stupid thing. These ball clicks at the very beginning that I can only pass half the time from 0 on a good day. I can't exactly call it a choke point because I don't think you can choke at 5%, but I certainly wouldn't call it free either. I did eventually get somewhat consistent at it later, however. Now, when I think of a choke point, I consider it to be a part of the level that you can consistently pass in practice, but in normal mode you're much more likely to die there due to nerves. If we were to go by that definition, then the ending corridor is not a choke point because it was just really hard every single time, even in practice. 3 specific sections come to mind. These first 2 5 spikes, this extremely precise UFO double click, and this upside down ship, specifically because even though it's just the first straight 5 but flipped, you have to remember that the pre-2.2 upside down ship physics make this one deceivingly harder than the first one. But I'd say that the real star of the show is hands down the first wave. This diabolical contraption killed hundreds of my promising runs from 0. And I consider myself to be somewhat wave carried, so if I struggle this badly at a section that I should be good at, especially compared to every other part, that's how I know that this is probably the hardest part of Ithacropolis. When I first started playing seriously from 0, I knew that if I were to pass 35%, which is the end of the wave, my next new best would be pretty much random because I had practiced everything after the wave so much. And when that did happen, I ended up making it all the way to 75%. I got past everything between the wave and the first click of the evil corridor of doom and despair. But I wasn't upset. In fact, I was thrilled because not only did I finally have a new best past 35, I knew that dying there meant I had a realistic shot at beating the whole level if I just got past that very last hard part. though not before I happened to die to it a few more times, and also pretty much everywhere in between. I would like to propose a Murphy's Law of Geometry Dash. For every percentage where you think you'll die, you will die there. Obviously, this gets less true the lower you go in difficulty, but for the first time, I have had the misfortune of proving this theory, because I managed to die at every part between the first wave and the corridor, which I thought I had nailed in practice. Most of the time it wasn't even nerves, it was just me not doing the level right. But it's these deaths that turn my experience with Ithacropolis from annoying to agonizing. Yeah, I did not enjoy this level very much. I'd say it got profoundly infuriating at times, which was no doubt thanks to not only what felt like the billions of deaths I had before the ball at 21%, but also all the times I had my dreams crushed when I died to parts that were supposed to be free. At least at the end of my Ithacropolis journey, I was shown some mercy by the GD gods, because I didn't have a single death past 81%. Thank goodness for that too, because I did not want to be stuck on this level for another day. It is so satisfying to say that I finally have a new hearts after almost 4 years. Not to toot my own horn, but I am very proud of myself for finding the motivation to pick up where I left off and commit to this challenge enough to see it through after all this time. I've got a lot of plans for levels I want to beat, and I'm always seeking out new ones, even though it might be a long time before I settle on a new hardest, but I think this is the moment where I'm officially allowed to say we're so back. Do people still say that? Sorry, I'm still mostly stuck in 2023. But anyways, that's about all I've got for Ithacropolis. See you in the next video.